Hey, what's going on, guys? I am out here with the new to me E-Flite Extra 300, which I got a couple of weeks ago and then promptly crashed, which I will say is not entirely my fault. I had gone to max rates at the rear and max mechanical throw, and what had happened is the rudder contacted the elevator and separated the two halves. Like on the Arrows product and some of the Flex products, that little joiner between the two halves of the elevator is like really wide, so there's a lot of overlap. But on the 300, it's only about a finger width. So just something to think about. I don't know if in the manual it suggests that you put a dab of glue on there. Since it was secondhand, I didn't build it. But what I have done is since separate the tail, you can just pull on it gently and mine would come apart and they would move independently. Just put a couple dabs of CA on there. Nothing super permanent, but enough that in flight it shouldn't come out again. Thankfully got away with just a broken prop, new landing gear, and the cowl. So it could have been a lot worse. I was inverted when it happened, and I went full elevator to try and get out of it, and it corkscrewed into the ground promptly. So I'm running a 13.4 today. Also going to mess with my GoPro a little bit. I don't really fly like long range FPV anymore as much, so I haven't really had a reason to mess with GoPro settings in a while, and I haven't been using Real Steady. I've kind of just locked ISO 100 white balance. I always lock at 5500, so there's not a warm cool difference going between into the sun or away from the sun or in the shadows. But shutter I pretty much run auto and then just basic hyper smooth. But what I'm going to do today is lock the shutter. I have an ND8 on here right now, and disable hyper smooth so I can see what I can get in Real Steady. I know some of you guys that mess with GoPros a lot know that when you start throwing NDs at it, especially with a variable or auto shutter setting, GoPro has a funny way of dealing with hypersmooth and dealing with the variable amount of light coming in. For some reason it messes with hypersmooth. The 7s really didn't have it. The newer generations, it seems to really do some weird like shifting and locking that I don't care for. I think it looks horrible. So today is going to be locked shutter at 1/240th, 60 frames per second, 5.3K, locked ISO, locked white balance, vibrant color, sharpness medium, and I'm going to kind of see how that does. Instead of using ND filters where you have to take the ND filter, the actual lens on and off, Sandmark make these really cool little slip-ons. They just go over the lens that's currently on there, and I know stacking glass isn't always the best idea, but if you're not doing a professional quality shoot, for me it's nice because I don't have to worry about dust or debris getting on the inside of the lens, especially in that little recessed area where the matting is, the background, or actually on the lens itself inside the GoPro. So yeah, I've always kind of liked doing it that way, and we're gonna see what results we get today. I also got a little GoPro down there on the runway, just facing back at me to see if I can kind of get some hovering caught on camera. We'll see. It flew really great, the Extra. I like it a lot. I've always wanted one, but I've never really wanted to pay 450 bucks for one. So I got a really good deal on this on Facebook Marketplace when I picked up those other planes. And yeah, the battery compartment kind of sucks. I'm not really a fan of that. But you know, whatever. So 5 minutes is probably pretty optimistic. Since I'm only on a 2200, we'll back that down to 4. Yeah, so I don't know. It flattens out really good, especially with the max rates for your flat spins, inverted or right side up. I do need quite a bit of contrary aileron right side up to keep it flat. But it flies really good. The 13.6 is what comes with it. I put a 13.4 on there just because that's what I had. I only have one more spare 13.6. And honestly, I don't do a lot of high energy maneuvers. You know, like tumbles and, you know, pop tops and crankshafts. So for me, going with a lower pitch and maybe giving me a little bit more flight time or a little bit better low end resolution on the throttle is okay. I'll run out here and start this GoPro. If I get lucky, it'll pair with my phone. Let's see. The Bluetooth is usually pretty good. Come on, buddy. You know you want to. There we go. Okay. The other thing I've noticed too is my 11s kind of have a little bit of a grainy look to the footage, and the 10s seem to be really, really crisp. Some of that is due to the fact that the 10 is always on an aircraft, you know, whether it be a plane or a drone. So the 11s I film from the ground and everything is backlit, which, you know, for filming is like the worst lighting you can get. That's kind of part of the reason why I'm messing with the ND filter again. And the shutter speed is that when I film here, unless it's at night, the sun is either right in front of me or to my right, and the plane's backlit and there's like no contrast. It looks really crappy. So yeah, I don't know. I got the 10s on the hat and on the runway cam today. I always run high bit rate, 10 bit on the 11 since that's an option. I've tried toggling those on and off to see if that's the difference between the two. I know the 11 has, I think, a taller lens in 8. I don't know. It's weird. Then again, also my 11, I had taken the front lens on and off a bunch of times because I used to use ND filters with it. So I tried cleaning that out with some compressed air. Maybe there's debris in there, but it still just looks grainy compared to the 10. So if anybody has an idea why that is or can weigh in, or let me know if you guys have the same experience, that'd be great. Not much wind today. We're gonna go medium rates, which is 100%, but 35% expo, and hopefully not crash. This thing is still a little sketchy for me. It is a really nice flyer though. Might be slightly tail heavy right now. I'm gonna bring it down. Yeah, it's pitching back a little bit. I'm gonna put some trim in it. Other than that, it feels okay. Went to low rates. See what she got on the 13.4 here for a flyby. Ooh, still a little touchy on that aileron, or the elevator, holy smokes. That's at 65% rates too, holy cow. That was redonkulous. Kind of let her float in a little here. Yeah, there's not as much of an ability to punch out of that, but it's still pretty good. A little wobbly there. Not the best. Let's try that inverted here. There we go, look at that. That's what you want. Trying to just kind of elevate her down and see if it drops a wing on me. Not too bad. A little bit of coupling there on that knife edge. Some of that also could just be me. I'm gonna pick up the speed a little and... Oh yeah. Definitely some coupling. Holy cow. Definitely need some back elevator on those knife edges. Wow. We'll try another upright flat spin here. Maybe this time I'll try and snap roll into it. Yeah, that's full contrary aileron there. Yeah, full contrary aileron, modulating the throttle. Let me go up for another inverted here. Yeah, that's about half inverted. There we go. That's how you want to pull out of that. Just into a nice little relaxed Harrier. Still not confident enough to get that super far down like you would, you know, pull out maybe 25-30 feet. A lot of times, you know, on the flat foamy, you can do that and just yank the elevator. Since there's no airfoil, you really can't stall a wing. But on these, you can for sure stall a wing. And unfortunately, I have done that. And that is some ass puckering action. So yeah, I still pull out pretty high because I'm not quite perfected the going into Harrier. I know a lot of people are really good at that. I just still don't have a complete feel for when the aircraft is going to stall on me, really yanking on the elevator. So yeah, for me it's best to just pull out maybe 60-70 feet, nice and high up, and that's the end of my timer. Let's go for one more hover and then we'll set up for a landing here. Yeah, definitely slightly tail heavy. Not horrible, but to the moon. Nope, fell out of that. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh boy, yeah. That's still sketchy with those Harriers, man. You see it, it was stalling there. That was definitely a little ass puckering. All right. I mean, that's a lot of throw. That's high, that's low. And then, yeah. I mean, that's a shit ton of throw. I may have to even add more expo into that, which is ridiculous. Let me see what my trim is at on the elevator. Yeah, we're at 10 clicks of down trim. I think second battery, I'll probably try and put that battery a little further forward and see how that does. So let me reposition the runway camera, and I'll throw another battery in and we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. I put the runway camera down a little bit further and it is recording. I'm really amazed actually. The Bluetooth reaches, that's maybe, I don't know, 100 feet? That's not bad. I was right on the edge of it there. Put another 2200 in. This time went way the hell further forward, almost where the front, the rear battery strap isn't doing anything. And then I think, let's see. I'm gonna go to like 45% expo. So I don't like going that much expo because I think it fucks with AS3X, but that thing was a little waggy for my liking. Throttle cut is off. I also got the P51 out here. I think probably the last two batteries, I'm gonna fly the P51, set up the runway camera like halfway and do like some strafing runs and stuff. It's nice when there's nobody out here because I can do that. So yeah, a shit ton of gnats and mosquitoes in the air because got a lot of rain recently. Well, a decent amount of rain recently. So yeah. Okay. So let's give this another go round. Yeah, that looks better. Let me slow it down. Yeah, I don't think that looks better. I don't know if that's the Expo or the CG, but yeah, that's what you want to see. I'm slowing down and the nose is going down instead of ballooning. So if you really blip the throttle coming out of that, you can get enough power to kind of go straight into a Harrier. But you have got to commit, because if you go just ever so slightly low on the power and stay aggressive on that elevator from the flat spin, it is going to want to bite the living shit out of you. Yeah, see there? It's almost better inverted. Upright, it seems like it really just wants to stall. It really wants to stall the wing. I mean, I am being super aggressive on the elevator, but still. That's about 65% right aileron to try and counter that torque. I'm gonna go low rates. Just kind of sport fly for a sec. Still seems to climb a little bit inverted. I mean, I know I'm not used to perfectly symmetrical inverted flight, so that's another reason that I may feel like it's slightly tail heavy when it's actually not. That's just because I'm not used to that. You know, with the bush planes, I'm holding probably 25–30% down elevator to keep that attitude. Whereas this is just basically hands off inverted. Does rotate nice for the stall turns. Yeah, you really have to pump the throttle coming out of those. That's super sketch. See if I can get a little bit of a knife edge going here. About 20% back elevator. Nope, fell out of that. Stay on the power. Yeah, this is still kind of at the limit of my skills. I mean, I feel like I could fly it, but I'm still, you know, a little bit sketchy with it. You know, I'm not as comfortable as I would be flying like a warbird or, you know, something of that nature. A little bit too much contrary aileron there. I was at 3.6 on the last flight, so I think we're gonna try one more inverted flat spin and then we're gonna call it. I just really like the way this thing flattens out, so. Yeah, look at that. And then we'll take off aileron and goose it. And there she is. Okay, we're gonna try landing in low rates. Into the wind is from the right. I think this 13.4 or this 13x4 is pretty nice. I'm digging it. It's about 20% power, a little back elevator. Yeah, and you can see it stall right there at the end. So yeah, I mean, I'm about as much throw as you can get without hitting. The servo maxes out at about 120. You know, some people go 150% rates, but after 120, you know, when I do it, I go into the servo travel limit and I go full stick and then increase the travel until the servo doesn't move anymore. It's kind of not an immediate response, so you can't just like scroll the wheel and watch it move instantly, but you can kind of go a couple clicks and wait a second to see if it continues moving. You know, and it takes maybe 3 or 4 units before you'll actually see servo movement. But for me, it seems to be right around 120, where after that, I can increase the travel, the signal going to the servo, but the servo doesn't move anymore. So there's no sense in going any harder than that. So I'm gonna set up for the P51 and fly that a few times. Yeah, really like the E-Flite Extra. It's such a gorgeous plane. I'm still a little sketchy with it, but I know if I fly it more, definitely having that CG forward on that 2200 helped. I might even go a little bit further than that, go all the way forward on that 2200. It's a CNHL 4S 2200 70C graphene, the G+, because it's still to me, it felt like it still wanted to inverted, slowing down the nose pitch up, which usually is indicative of it being slightly nose heavy. So all right guys, thanks for watching. I'll be back in a second. If I post the P51 video, the P51 video, then yeah, you'll see that. All right, cool.